So this is our model, Sanaya, and we're gonna do her hair with the braid hairstyle today. So first thing, you're gonna wanna make that center part. So take the and you're gonna make the hair into a ponytail at the nape of the neck. So when you do this parting, you want to make sure that you get the hair brushed downward. Sometimes we take it back, but you want to make sure it's straight down. And then we're going to put some pins to hold the baby hairs in place. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put the choker on. You're going to want to do that before you start doing all the hair stuff. Okay, so next we're going to attach the braid. So you're going to take it around the ponytail, and you want to make sure the ponytail is tight because now you have a heavy thing that's going to be grabbing onto the ponytail and hanging on for its dear life. So you're going to want the braid, this is the perfect length. It's kind of like the kunjalam should be just under, just kind of where the butt, this would be where the back piece would finish. And like if her butt is here, you want it kind of just under there, so that when you tie the braid to the belt with string, it just kind of falls nicely without bunching up or without feeling like it's gonna swing around too much. So this is the correct length. Okay, so we'll divide it up. You're gonna braid one side. And then we'll braid the other side. Okay, so you have it like so. Then we'll take this and bring it this way, and then hold its place here, and take this braid and do the same, and then we'll just continue their journeys, cross them over. And for all of those, I use these large bobby pins just because you really want the sturdiness to hold them in place. When you're doing some of the smaller pieces like this strand right here, you might want to take some of the smaller ones so you don't run out. And you can also take a hairnet and just kind of get it all together. So bring it around, and then you can kind of hang the edges of the net on the pins themselves, and then pin down any extra things. Okay, so now she has her braid. Very nice. Let me make sure it's centered. And you might want to use hair gel or spray or something to keep wispies down. Okay, now line this up with the center part. So now can you hold it right here? Yeah, so this is going to line up here. And then we're going to take these across. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's just a little bit of hair showing, but not too much. And you want to make sure that this is not like down here, but also not like a headband up here, so you want to get it right to that place. And then you're going to tie it in the back, and we're going to take the string from the neti chuti and just let it get held in the middle. And you'll take the strings from the middle part and then just kind of knot them, tie it around as well. And then you're going to take the sun and moon. The sun will go on the right, the moon will go on the left, and you want to make sure that it matches like the head size of the person. So if it feels too narrow, you can spread them out a little bit more. So the next thing we're going to do is put the bun on. There's a shortcut version of this, which is if you have an existing bun, you can just sew on like the white and the orange. You would have it as one piece, and then you would put it at the center of the head, not too high, not too low. You want it kind of right there, and you would use U-pins and pin that in. But I'm gonna do the full thing in case you don't have this apparatus or you don't feel like making it. So again, we're gonna find the placement of the bun. It's not gonna be too high, not too low. And then you wanna also remember that there's gonna be 2 layers of flowers around it. So here, just face me. You're gonna use these U-pins. It's okay if the pins are sticking out a bit because you have the flowers coming next. You're gonna have multiple lengths of flowers. We'll take the smaller one for the top, and then you're gonna put a pin. I like to use the big ones. Okay, so instead of breaking off the extra, because technically you just need that much, you can just kind of use it to fill the space. And then next we're gonna come in with the orange. This we're gonna save for the bottom. This time I'm gonna use the big ones just because it has to go on top of 2 layers of flowers, so you want something a little more sturdy. And maybe a U-pin to hold them in place. So now we're done with the top bun. So now we want to cover this part up with white flowers. So what I like to do is kind of go like this and then make yourself a little cinnamon swirl. And put it on here. And now if you're doing it this way, you really got to make sure you pin it down. Another way you can do it is start here and do your swirl on the head itself. So you're basically going to pin down every layer. This might be a little more foolproof. Bring it around and then bring it down here and pin it down here. Now when I run out of space on top, see, I don't want to keep layering on top, I can just bring it back down. So I'm going to add one more pin here. Hold that. And I'm going to bring it back, and then I'm going to really pin that down. So a lot of the stuff, because it's not, there's no it's not sized for the heads, like every head is different and the lengths of the flowers are different. It takes a lot of playing around to make sure you can get it symmetrical. So get creative, but be symmetrical. Okay, you can turn this way. Way. Now we're going to come in with the orange layer. And so what I have left is a small bit and a long bit. So I'm going to start with this small bit. If I just put it on the outside, then we have this kind of space here. So you can do one layer from underneath. And then we have one more. So we're going to see again what happens is we have all this extra. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this here. So now you're gonna see a whole bunch of these are gonna be loose. See that loosey-goosey? So for that, you wanna take these bun pins and secure them in place. Anywhere that you find is kind of loosey-goosey, take a bun pin. Back in its place. So you want to make sure you can see it from both sides, but you want to also keep in mind that you're not watching the person only from one angle. They are moving. So even if it's not oh my God, till here, if I added one more layer, it might look a bit too much. So I think we have to exercise restraint as well. And so now to keep it together, I'm going to thread her flowers. So when you're threading, what's important is you want to keep it together, but you don't want to smush it down because then that'll lose the shape. So it's just basically all these places where you see things kind of popping up a bit. You want to particularly don't let it get too tight on the edges, but make sure it is tight on these parts. And once you've done that, you can knot this side and that side. So now these are the earrings. This is the matal. And then the earring, I removed the back, and I'm going to stick this into this hole. Earring over here. Now I'm going to take this side and this side, and I'm going to make them friends. You want to get them behind the sun and moon, or somewhere not very obtrusive. Now we'll just do a double knot, because you can still take it out. then you can tie it down here. The jumkis are something you can do before the flowers if it's not like, you know, too much of a pain. But otherwise, just try to sync the threads with the sun and moon. You can also do it so that the sun and moon goes first and this goes on top. But the issue with that is this, it might slide a little bit, whereas if you put it on top of the lace element, it just kind of sits there. Let's see, is there anything else?
Very good.
Okay, yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little awkward.
I can.
Yeah, you can.